Alright people, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video, and it is time once again to rank some stuff. It's been a little while since I've done one. I think the last one I did was for the Spider-Man movies, so it's been a couple months. And of course, we got a new Batman movie coming out in a few days, which, I can't wait. Are you excited? You better be. Because it's going to be good. Reviews actually drop tomorrow, so I look forward to my reaction to that. But anyway, I scoured Tier Maker to see if I could find a decent list of all the Batman movies. And what I found was not exactly Batman, just all Batman, but I found all theatrically released things that relate to Batman in some way. Originally, I was gonna do see if I do. I still have the list up. No, I don't. There was one list that had like a bunch of just it had Batman in the title pretty much, so like a lot of DC animated stuff. And then I looked at the list, I was like, half of them I didn't see yet, or some of them I have, but it's been a long time, so I don't remember exactly what happened in them. So I was like, you know what? This one actually works because these are all movies that released in theaters that involve Batman in some way. I actually forgot to maneuver this because this should be in chronological order. Is this the Zack Snyder's Justice League, or is this? I think that's the theatrical. Well, yeah, I guess in theaters. I just said these are all theatrically released. So anywho, let's get to it. So yeah, I as you can see, Catwoman's here. Technically not Batman at all, but she is a Batman character, so it kind of counts. Everything else is Batman related in some way. Joker, obviously, is much more Batman related than this Catwoman is. Like Catwoman is very much Batman related, but not this Catwoman. No. So let's get started. Let's start off with the original '60s Batman movie, of course. Which I actually really liked when I was a kid. I always had a good time with that movie. Obviously, over the top and silly. The shark repellent is one of my favorite things. To the point where, like, I think 10 years ago when I was at a convention, I just found someone just making shark repellent like replicas for like $5 each. I was like, I gotta buy one. I mean, it's a simple thing. They just put a purple label around it. It's a shark repellent. Had to get it. Really fun movie. I haven't watched it since I was a kid, honestly, though. So this is the one that's a little bit harder for me to really give you an accurate description of. But I do remember really enjoying it. So I'm gonna put that. And you see, there's no F's here. We might have to change that for one movie. We'll see. See how I feel. But we're gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a B because I think it's just a fun movie. I think it is. Now we got Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, which I think I want to say no. I think I saw it on DVD when it came out because it did go to theaters. Some people might not realize that, but it actually did go to theaters. It didn't do very well, but it did go to theaters. And yeah, so I think I saw it on either VHS or DVD or something like that. And I loved it. I thought it was great. But I will say, I watched it maybe like a few years back at this point. I will say there's a couple of things I don't really care for. Well, first of all, for a big theater movie, the animation is still really good. Don't get me wrong. I love the gothic look and all that. And the voice acting is all phenomenal. And the story itself is really good. But the animation is definitely not up to theater standards, I would say. It was originally not supposed to be in theaters, but then they put it in theaters. Also, I think the villain, while good, I like the Phantasm. I think the reveal is very weak. I don't want to say who the reveal is. It's just very obvious who it is. If you're just thinking about like, oh, like obvious people, it's yeah. Anyway, but the storyline is really good. Love the setting, or love the look of it. All the character stuff is really good. I like that it's pretty dark, even for like a Batman animated series movie. I really liked it. So it's been a little while to be fair, but I'm gonna give it a high B. All right, maybe we should move these around to. Nah, we'll just do it in this order. The Lego Batman movie. Now, I don't know if everybody else likes this movie as much as I do, but I really like the Lego Batman movie. I think it's really funny, very creative, looks amazing. I love the Lego animation. Doesn't matter how mediocre the movies can be at times. I love that they really take it seriously and make every single thing out of Lego. I love that. Even water and stuff, I think is great. A lot of little character moments here and there. Great voice acting. Will Arnett is perfect as Batman. Really funny. I really, really like Zach Galifianakis as Joker. I don't know why. I just remember that. And their relationship between Batman and Joker is just like it breaks your heart a little bit. And the Joker's like, what? You don't consider us like, enemies or whatever? Anyway, Great movie. I really liked it. I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna say a high B. That might piss people off because I put it ahead of Mask of the Phantasm. Excuse me. But I don't think this one's gonna piss anybody off. Catwoman. Now, okay, you know what? Actually, no. I gotta talk. No, let's put this in chronological order now. Okay, we got rid of the three weirder Batman movies, I guess. Even though Catwoman is also weird. I need to talk about it later because it'll make sense in a minute. All right, Tim Burton Batman. What a great movie. I love it. The look, the feel, the performances. I love Jack Nicholson. I don't care what anybody says. I love him. He's not my definitive Joker, that's for sure. But I think he's great. Michael Keaton, though, I can't wait to see him in The Flash. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I know some people are a little annoyed that it seems like he's taking over for Ben Affleck almost, which is kind of weird if you think about it. But yeah, because he's going to be in Batgirl and stuff. He's going to be in like a lot of Batman stuff in the future. Weird how they'll make that work because Michael Keaton, I mean, even though he's like 70, he's in pretty good shape. I mean, he was just in an action movie recently called The Protege, I think, and I've heard he did a lot of his own stunts in that movie. So I don't know what that means because I haven't seen the movie. Maybe it means nothing. I have no idea. But he might what he did. He like hopped once or something, or like threw a gun, or I don't know why throw a gun. I think in the trailer he throws a gun. That's why I saw the trailer a lot. So maybe not that much because I don't remember too much. Anyway, this movie's great. I think it really, the tone is perfect. Love the look of it. Tim Burton knew exactly what to do here, even though he's come out and said like he's never read a comic book and stuff, but he knew what to do with the vision he had for this movie. And it was great. I love it. I really do. So I'm gonna give that an A. Love it. Batman Returns. I'm gonna tell you right here. You know what? It's just as good as the original, but it has more performances that I love. Because I thought Danny DeVito was great as the Penguin. I think Michelle Pfeiffer is still, until maybe next week, we'll see how Zoe Kravitz is, still my favorite version of Catwoman. I love her. She's great in that movie. And Michael Keaton, I think, is actually a little bit better in this one. I think so. And it's way more darker. Like, mind you, a lot of people talk about these two Batman movies as like, oh, Batman doesn't kill. Everybody gives shit to the Justice League version of Batman, mainly the Batman v Superman version. Where it's different is that Batman and Batman Returns both still have, in some way, a campy tone, just a little bit. You know, it's still played for gags sometimes. Like your movie can have a dark tone and still have goofy moments in it, and still feel tonally consistent. And this movie and the original do have that. There's still silly moments, not Batman and Robin, or even Batman Forever, but not that levels of goofy. But you can still have silly moments. So there's a couple of moments that people always talk about, like, oh, when you let the guy explode or whatever. It's just he like smiles before that. I always thought it was kind of just a goofy like, and I wouldn't even be surprised if there was a scene that they never filmed or whatever that was supposed to be like, you see the guy and he's like covered in smoke. Like, this movie can get goofy, but can also get very, very dark. Pretty much anything with Danny DeVito in it is disturbing. But that's what I like. I like when a movie can get disturbing and also goofy and dark and then go back to being campy. I think these two movies do that very well. And honestly, it's been a little while since I watched these two movies, but I'm going to say Batman Returns is a little bit better. Hate me, but you ain't me, which is probably good because you don't want to be me. Good Lord. All right. This is going to be, you know what, let's just do this right here. Add below. People are going to hate me. I don't give a fuck. Can we get a different color for this one? No, puke green. I guess it's kind of pukish. Is that the same color as D though? Yeah, it is. All right, let's make this one regular green. There you go. Well, I guess that's pukish. Yeah, whatever. They both suck anyway. All right. Batman Forever, I fucking hate. I hate this movie. The last time I saw this movie, I had the biggest fucking headache because everybody in this movie is being the most annoying fucker ever. And I love Val Kilmer. I really do. I think he's a really lame Batman. And I don't even think it's his fault. I really think it's Joel Schumacher's fault for this one. Because he was leaning way more into that goofy tone that you'll see a lot more in Batman v Superman. Batman and Robin, I wish. That would have been amazing if Batman v Superman was goofy. I personally fucking hate Batman Forever. I think Jim Carrey's really over the top, way too over the top. Tommy Lee Jones is awful in this movie. I love Tommy Lee Jones, and for the most part. And I thought he was terrible. They were both really trying to outdo like Jack Nicholson, and they're both not. Those characters shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be the Joker, pretty much. Jim Carrey, though, you know, I love Jim Carrey, but I just didn't like him in that movie. I really didn't. I thought he was really annoying. I just thought the whole movie, I thought Robin was way more annoying in this than he was in Batman and Robin. I just thought it was a terrible and annoying movie. Now I put it F, and I'm really thinking about it. I'm not going to give it an F because there are some redeeming things. I think some of the set design stuff looks pretty good. But that's really all I could think about that I really liked. I think there's like a couple of decent action scenes, maybe. I don't even, I'm gonna give it a D though. Really fucking hated though. I should put it an F. Batman and Robin. This is gonna be really controversial. I'm gonna put Batman and Robin in D, but I'm gonna put it ahead of Batman. Nope, Batman Forever, because Batman and Robin knew what it was doing. It is terrible. Everybody knows this, but it is so to the point of campy that like. You don't have quotes from Batman Forever, but you still have quotes people still quote nowadays from Batman and Robin. Okay? Batman and Robin's terrible, but at least it's kind of fun. You go sit with a bunch of friends and watch that movie and laugh at it and go and quote along with it. You know, we'll kill the dinosaurs. Yeah, I said you can't do that with Batman Forever. Me personally, I just get fucking annoyed every time I watch Batman Forever. Batman and Robin, I can have a good time. To the point where there's times where like the movie can even go up to like a C minus. It's so terrible, but it's so much fun, comparatively at least. So that's probably gonna give me some hate. All right, I'm just gonna tell you right here, Catwoman is one of the worst superhero movies ever, and that's going F. This movie, at times, can be funny bad, and I'm sure if you watch it with a bunch of friends, this is gonna be one of those movies you laugh at a lot because there's so many stupid things. Like Sharon Stone has like makeup that makes her skin really hard, which I don't. All right, a cat like farts into her mouth to make her come back to life. I don't think I actually have. I think it was like breathing into her mouth. What else? She plays basketball really well out of nowhere. Benjamin Bratt's there just to be the love interest. Isn't his name like Tom Lone? Oh, isn't fucking what's her name from Family Guy, the voice of Lois in there as a Catwoman, not Selena, by the way. That's her name. Her name is like Patience, I think. Why do I remember so much about this fucking movie? But yeah, she's like her friend. She's super annoying. There's like a lot of just really annoying things about this movie, and so shittily made. The special effects are terrible. The outfit, I'll let you decide what I think. It's just a fucking terrible shit piece of a movie. I still would say I enjoy it probably more than Batman Forever, but it's definitely a worse movie. I don't think there's really anything here that is redeeming. But you know what? The one thing that's redeeming is that Halle Berry accepted her award at the Razzies the year that she won for worst performance. Which I don't know if I exactly agree. I have to look at all the other nominations because she's not good, but nobody's good in that fucking movie. Anyway, all right. So let's get to some good stuff. Batman Begins. I feel like Batman Begins is just a movie that everybody kind of like, oh yeah, the Christopher Nolan ones. You mean the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. I love Batman Begins. There's only a couple problems with it. I think what they do with Ra's al Ghul, or they call him Ra's al Ghul in this, so I'll call him just Ra's al Ghul. Towards the end of the movie is good until what Batman decides to do towards the end, which I'm like, I feel like that's just not like for this. Like, all right. For this movie, this series of Batman movies, him letting people die or killing people doesn't really fit. When it comes to Batman and Batman Returns, though, that's still a goofy tone. So when he lets someone die in a goofy way, it's like, oh, doi, you know, just a little bit. Like in Batman and Robin, that would be perfectly fine if you let someone die because it would just be they'd have like that exploded hair look, like in a cartoon. Whenever someone explodes and their hair is like sticking up and it's all black, and they puff out on like a smoke ring or whatever. Go that would be that movie. But in Batman, when someone explodes, you don't see them actually die on screen. It's kind of maybe a little bit of a tonal clash, but I just think it fits for that movie more so than it would fit for a Christopher Nolan movie. But besides that, I think it's a fantastic movie. I think all of the stuff about him becoming Batman is great. You don't even get to see him as Batman until a little over an hour into the movie, which I think is great because building up onto that, we've never really seen, like in a movie at least. I feel like when we see him as Batman, it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. And this one was just like, hey, we're building up. It's called Batman fucking Begins. This is the beginning, bitch. And I thought it was great. The only thing I didn't really like is Katie Holmes. I like as an actress. I think she's good here. I just wish we could have done with no love interest. I feel like no love interest here would have made it work a little bit better because I feel like her scene's like But then in The Dark Knight, that actually works in its favor with Maggie Gyllenhaal taking over the role instead. Because that's a big part of The Dark Knight. I feel like Batman Begins, it distracts a little bit too much. But in The Dark Knight, it's actually a plus. So, I don't know. So, for this one, it doesn't work, but in The Dark Knight, it actually ends up working. So, you know what I mean? Anyway, if you don't, then I'm sorry. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say right below Batman and Batman Returns. That's my ranking. Dark Knight, I don't even know why I'm even fucking... Do I need to say anything about The Dark Knight? It's when it comes to a comic book movie, it is perfect. It is perfect because it takes itself seriously. It's very realistic for a comic book movie. There's some things here and there like you have to like suspend your disbelief, I guess, just little bits. It's not even like you're suspending your disbelief by like a huge amount. It's just like okay. It's a movie, you know. But it really does a great job of like combining like a detective story, with a little bit of Seven in there. Like there's some legit creepy, terrifying stuff with the Joker. And of course Heath Ledger fucking nailed it. Like I love Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. I really do. But Heath Ledger, every time he shows up, it's amazing. It's just scary, haunting, just fucking an amazing top tier performance. But don't get me wrong, everybody else is great in that movie. I feel like nobody ever talks about everybody else in that movie. Morgan Freeman's great, Michael Caine's great, Maggie Gyllenhaal's great, Aaron Eckhart's great, of course Christian Bale's great. Just a good ass cast. Michael Jai White is great. You know, he's Gambit, right? He gets killed by the Joker. But everybody's great in that movie. Even Eric Roberts, the talking cat himself, is in this, and he's great. Everybody gives great performances. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I think that's good. All right, The Dark Knight Rises. This is easily the most controversial movie in the Nolan trilogy. I get it with the plot holes. I really do. At the time, it didn't bother me. I totally understand now. I really do. I mean, I understood back then, but like time away from the movie, I totally get it. I think the movie is just so emotionally perfect. Like I think by the time that movie was over and the thing rises and it says The Dark Knight Rises, and it's so fucking good. I think Bane's a great villain. I think there's a reveal of a new villain that doesn't really work too much towards the end of the movie, and it was also very obvious. But I think Bane was great. I think having it all tie into Batman Begins in some way was great too. There is plot holes without a doubt, and things that just don't make sense. And it would be okay for like a Tim Burton Batman movie, like how come he didn't break his spine again or back again when he fell off the thing or whatever, or how did he get back in the city? These are things like wouldn't bother me in a Tim Burton one, but the Nolan movies have been extremely smart. Like The Dark Knight is like almost airtight how good that script is, but this one not so much. But I think it's still a great movie. I really do. I love it. I really love it. So this might be more of a personal one. I'm gonna put it just below Batman Begins, like I did here, but I'm still putting it an A. I love it. I really do. All right, now we're gonna get some controversy here. All right, so Batman v Superman. I think when it comes to plot holes, this movie has way more plot holes than The Dark Knight Rises, and I just don't feel the emotional impact at all. Really, I know there's huge fans of this movie. I'm probably gonna piss a lot of people off, but I'm sorry. I just don't feel it with these versions of Batman and Superman, especially with Superman. Like Man of Steel, when it first came out, I loved. I'm not gonna lie. Watched it a few times since then. I've been a little bit more disenfranchised with like action movies recently where it's just been loud noises. When that movie came out, Man of Steel, I loved it because it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted Superman fighting whatever. And now just looking back on it, I'm just I don't know. I loved it. I loved Man of Steel when it first came out, but yeah, now it's just like, I don't know, it's a little bit too much for me. A little bit too much of just action schlock and explosions, and like you don't really get much of a characters, and it's just me. I don't hate that movie. I definitely don't. I would put that like a high C, but yeah, you just don't get much of what I want. But as a Batman movie, it's pretty good, I guess. Like, I mean, there's a lot of plot holes, but I think there's a lot of really great Batman stuff. I think Ben Affleck is awesome. When he was cast, I remember I was in the theater for I want to say I was in the theater for the the Cornetto trilogy, the Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and At World's End. They were doing a screening of that, and I swear it was like in between, I think, Hot Fuzz and At World's End, where like I was looking at my phone and I was like, oh, he was just cast as Batman. People are not gonna be happy about that, and I was right when I got home. But I was like, you know what? I think Ben Affleck's good. I think he's a good actor. I always thought that, and I think people talking shit about Heath Ledger as Joker will look back on this as the same thing. But I mean, his performance isn't as good as Heath Ledger, but he was great. He was a great Batman, and there's a lot of great action scenes in there. So I'm very conflicted on it. I think just C is a good place for it. I think there's some good stuff in there, but yeah, I definitely don't get bored watching that movie. I still enjoy it. That's for sure. Justice League. I'm definitely putting that here. This is the wait, does it say Zack Snyder? It says Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, I mean, that's not... I mean, I guess it kind of came out in theaters, right? I think it had, like, special screenings. I'm going to assume, even though it says Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'm going to assume this is the Joss Whedon version, okay? If it is, then maybe I'll put it high D. Because that movie, I watched it again in theaters after the first time, and I was really bored. Yeah, I'll put a high D, but if this was the Snyder cut, I'd put it in low B, personally. I know some people think it's a masterpiece. I think it's definitely much better, but I still think it's a little too long. And when I say a little too long, I mean very long. And there's some things they could have easily edited down, but I think it's a good movie. Now Joker, I love Joker. I know that might be controversial. I actually really love it. I'd probably put it right in between here. So Batman and Batman Begins. I think Joker does a really good job of doing just its own thing. You know, very much like a Nolan thing. You know, it's not connected to no universe. There's no Superman. There's no Batman really. Which makes sense in the story. Joaquin Phoenix really made that movie. If it was a lesser performance, like say a good performance or a okay or bad one, that movie would completely fall apart. But not completely. Like the music score is still great and cinematography is great, but if you don't have a character that's engaging and interesting and performed very well, then you don't really have a movie there, because that's all this movie is. You can say that about a lot of classic movies. Shit, a movie that this is very, very much inspired by, Taxi Driver. Same thing with that. If Robert De Niro wasn't so good as Travis Bickle, then it wouldn't be as good of a movie. I mean, that's obvious. So there you go. That is my tier list. Batman. I guess so. If you look at my top 5 or top 10, my top 10 are number 10. Wait, let me see where number 10. I guess number 10 would be Batman versus Superman. Okay, so Batman versus Superman. Number 9 would be the original Batman movie. Number 8 would be Mask of the Phantasm. Number 7 would be Lego Batman movie. Some people are going to be pissed that I put that higher than Batman v Superman. I know it. And probably Mask of Phantasm. Number 6, Dark Knight Rises. Number 5, Batman Begins. Number 4, Joker. Number 3, Batman, the original Tim Burton movie. Number 2, Batman Returns. And number 1, unsurprisingly, The Dark Knight. So there you go. That is that. I'm glad I didn't do all the animated movies too, because I would be here fucking forever. This took way longer than I thought it would. But anyway, there you go. That is that. I hope you enjoyed it. Great movies for the most part. Bottom 5 would, I guess, be Batman v Superman, also Justice League, Batman Robin, Batman Forever, and then Catwoman. Even though I would probably I would put Batman Forever as my number 1 worst Batman movie. I hate it. I just can't stand that movie. It gives me a headache. Last time I watched it a few years ago, when Batman v Superman was about to come out, it gave me a fucking gigantic headache. And maybe that's why I didn't hate Batman v Superman as much as a lot of other people, because even though it was longer, it didn't give me quite as big of a headache. So there you go. Anyway, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Until next time. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.